In a vast and colorful galaxy, where stars shined like diamonds and planets danced in orbit, the Galactic Council met in a grand hall made of crystal. Leaders from different alien species gathered to discuss matters of the universe. Among them were the Zilnaks, tall and wise beings with shimmering blue skin, and the Krathians, who were small, furry creatures with big eyes and a keen sense of humor. As the meeting began, an air of seriousness filled the room. The main topic of discussion was Earth and its human inhabitants. The council members had been observing humans for years. They noticed how humans fought among themselves and how their world was filled with chaos. Some council members believed that humans were too weak to be a threat. This was a big mistake. The Zilnak leader, Ilaris, stood up to speak. He had a deep voice that echoed in the hall. "We have watched humans for too long," he said. "They are chaotic and foolish. We must make sure they do not interfere with our plans. We should consider controlling them before they become a problem." The Krathian leader, a small creature named Blip, chuckled. "Control humans? They are not a threat. Look at their wars and problems. They cannot even unite among themselves." Blip's laughter filled the hall, and other council members joined in, thinking it was funny. But in a dark corner of the room, an alien named Sorek watched silently. He was from a species known for their intelligence and strength. Sorek had visited Earth before and had learned that humans were unpredictable. He understood their potential and the fire that burned within them. But his warnings fell on deaf ears. As the meeting continued, Ilaris and Blip spoke more about the weaknesses of humans. They shared stories of human conflicts and disasters, mocking their struggles. "They are too busy fighting among themselves to pose a real threat," Blip said with a smirk. "We should just leave them to their own chaos." However, the laughter turned to silence when Ilaris suggested they send a message to Earth. "Let us show them who is in charge. We can warn them not to interfere with our plans. If they do not listen, we will take action." The other members nodded in agreement, excited about the idea. They believed this would be an easy way to control the humans. Meanwhile, on Earth, news of the Council's meeting reached the leaders of different nations. Scientists and government officials gathered in a top-secret meeting. They learned of the Alien Council's plan to warn them. A sense of unease settled in the room. "Who do they think they are?" shouted a general, his face red with anger. "We are not weak. We can defend ourselves." The president, calm yet determined, looked at the gathered officials. "We cannot let them underestimate us. We must show them that we are stronger than they think. If they come for us, we will be ready." Back in the council hall, the aliens were busy preparing the message to send to Earth. They thought they were being clever, but they did not understand the nature of humans. Humans had a spirit that was hard to crush. They were known for their resilience and determination, especially when they felt threatened. As the message was sent, a strange feeling filled the council hall. Sorek, feeling the tension, spoke up. "You are making a mistake. Humans are not to be underestimated. They may surprise you." But Ilaris dismissed him, laughing. "Sorek, you worry too much. We are powerful and wise. We will show these humans what true strength is." The council members continued their plans, unaware of the fire they were about to ignite. Back on Earth, the leaders were already making plans of their own. They knew they were being underestimated, and this made them even more determined. The stage was set for a conflict that would change the galaxy forever. Humans would not let their spirit be crushed easily. They would rise to the challenge, proving that underestimating them would be the biggest mistake the Galactic Council would ever make. The spark of conflict had been lit, and it was only a matter of time before it would explode into a full-blown confrontation. After sending their warning to Earth, the Galactic Council felt confident. They thought they had shown humans their place, but they had no idea what lay ahead. On Earth, a fire was igniting, and humans were ready to respond. In a secure underground facility, the leaders of Earth gathered once more. They were angry and determined. "We cannot let them think we are weak," said the president. "We must show them what humans can do." A group of scientists worked tirelessly, brainstorming ideas for a response. They were engineers, inventors, and military strategists. Together, they began to develop a plan. "What if we create a new weapon? Something they won't see coming," suggested Dr. Maria, a brilliant engineer. "We need to use our creativity." "That's our strength!" The team agreed, and they began to work on a project they called Project Phoenix. The goal was to design a weapon that combined technology with human ingenuity. Instead of relying solely on advanced technology like the aliens, they would use their wits and imagination. As the days passed, the council members were busy planning their next move. They laughed about humans and continued to ignore Sorak's warnings. "Humans are nothing but trouble," said Blip. "They can't even unite their own world. How can they challenge us?" Meanwhile, Sorak was becoming more and more concerned. He had witnessed humans in action before. Their creativity and passion were unmatched. "You do not understand," Sorak insisted. "They may appear weak, but they will surprise you. Do not underestimate their spirit." Ilaris brushed off Sorak's concerns. "You worry too much. We are powerful and smart. These humans will not be a problem." The council members laughed, feeling secure in their belief that they had everything under control. Back on Earth, Project Phoenix was coming together. The scientists worked day and night, designing a weapon that used both technology and human creativity. They created a drone that could think for itself, learn from its surroundings, and adapt to any situation. It was unlike anything the aliens had seen before. The president held a meeting with military leaders, presenting the new drone. "This is not just a weapon, it's a symbol of our determination," he said proudly. "We will not let anyone underestimate us. We will fight for our planet." As the scientists prepared the drone for its first test flight, tensions were rising in the council. They received reports from their scouts that humans were becoming more organized. "They are starting to work together," said one alien. "This is troubling." "Let them try," Ilaris said dismissively. "We have technology that they cannot even imagine. We will crush them if they dare to attack." On the day of the test flight, Earth scientists gathered at the launch site. The drone soared into the sky, flying higher and faster than they had hoped. It demonstrated advanced maneuvers and abilities, showcasing human creativity and innovation. As the scientists cheered, they realized that this was only the beginning. "This is just a taste of what we can do," Dr. Maria declared. "We must prepare for what is to come. We will show the Galactic Council that humans are not to be taken lightly." The news of the successful test flight reached the council. They were puzzled and began to worry, but Ilaris continued to dismiss their concerns. "It's just a drone. It cannot possibly compare to our ships and technology." But the council was beginning to see cracks in their confidence. Reports from their scouts indicated that humans were rallying together, forming alliances and preparing for a potential conflict. The council's arrogance blinded them to the fact that humans were more than just chaotic beings. They were innovative, passionate, and resourceful. Sorak watched the council's discussions, feeling a mix of concern and hope. "You must understand that humans are unpredictable. They will fight back with everything they have, and we will not be ready for it." But Ilaris simply shook his head, convinced that their power would be enough to crush any human uprising. Little did they know that underestimating humanity would be their greatest mistake. The stage was set, and the conflict was about to ignite in ways they could never imagine. As humans prepared for the challenges ahead, they were ready to show the Galactic Council the true meaning of resilience and strength. The fight for Earth was just beginning, and the Council's laughter would soon turn to fear. The air was thick with tension as Earth prepared for the inevitable confrontation with the Galactic Council. Humans had created a powerful drone through Project Phoenix, but now they needed a plan to use it effectively. The scientists, engineers, and military leaders gathered in the control room, their faces lit by the soft glow of computer screens. "We need to strike first," said General Thompson, his voice steady. "We cannot wait for the Council to attack us. We must show them that we are ready." The team nodded in agreement, knowing that their time was limited. "Our drones can disrupt their communication systems," Dr. Maria suggested. "If we take out their ability to coordinate, we'll have an advantage." Excitement buzzed in the room as they finalized their plan. They decided to launch a surprise attack on one of the Council's supply ships, which was known to travel through a nearby asteroid field. It was risky, but they were determined to make a statement. Meanwhile, in the Galactic Council's Crystal Hall, Ilaris and his allies were still dismissive of the humans. "They're probably just making noise," Ilaris said with a wave of his hand. "Let them play their little games. They can't possibly challenge us." But Sorak felt a knot in his stomach. "They are planning something." "You need to be ready," he warned, his voice firm. But Ilaris shrugged off the warning, laughing at the thought of humans posing any real threat. On the day of the planned attack, the Earth team launched their drones from a hidden base. The drones flew silently through the stars, their advanced technology allowing them to evade detection. General Thompson watched the screens closely, heart pounding with excitement and fear. As the drones neared the supply ship, They saw it drifting peacefully, unaware of the approaching threat. "This is our chance!" Thompson shouted, and the drones swooped in. The drones unleashed their electronic warfare capabilities, sending powerful signals that disrupted the ship's communication systems. The crew on the supply ship was thrown into chaos, unable to contact the council for help. The humans were seizing the moment. Back in the council hall, alarms blared as reports of the attack flooded in. "What is happening?" Elaris demanded, his face pale. "How could they do this?" Sorak stood up, his expression serious. "I warned you! They are not weak. This is just the beginning." But Elaris refused to listen, still in disbelief. On the supply ship, the humans were gaining the upper hand. The drones launched missiles that struck critical areas of the ship, causing explosions. Panic spread among the crew as they struggled to regain control. "We have to escape!" shouted the captain, but it was too late. The ship was already breaking apart. Back on Earth, the control room erupted in cheers. "We did it!" Dr. Maria shouted, her eyes wide with excitement. General Thompson grinned, feeling a surge of hope. "This is just the first step. We've shown them that we can fight back." As the supply ship's debris floated through space, the Galactic Council received the shocking news. Alaris's face turned dark with anger. "They attacked us! They dared to strike first!" Sorak nodded, knowing this would change everything. "You underestimated them, and now they have made their point. They will not back down." The Council's confidence shattered, replaced by fear and uncertainty. "We must retaliate!" Alaris commanded, his voice rising. "We will show them what true power looks like." Meanwhile, humans were celebrating their victory, but they knew this was only the beginning. The Council would not let this go unpunished, and the fight for Earth was far from over. The stage was set for a larger conflict, and the first strike had been made. Humanity had proven it was not to be underestimated, and now the Galactic Council would face the full force of human resilience. As the echoes of celebration faded, the reality sank in. They were now in a war against a powerful enemy who would stop at nothing to crush them. The fight for survival had begun, and both sides prepared for the battles to come. The Galactic Council was in chaos. After the humans' daring attack on the supply ship, fear gripped the council members. Elaris paced back and forth in the crystal hall, his mind racing. "How could we let this happen?" he muttered, his confidence shattered. "We thought they were weak. Now they have shown us their strength." Sorak watched from the sidelines, a sense of grim satisfaction filling him. "You underestimated them," he said calmly. "Now you must learn a lesson. Humans fight not just for survival, but for their honor and their home." Elaris turned to Sorak, his eyes filled with anger. "What do you know of humans? You have spent too much time with them. They are nothing more than a problem to be solved." But Sorak shook his head. "You fail to see their true nature. They are passionate, creative, and fiercely protective of one another. You will learn this soon." Back on Earth, the victory was still fresh, but the leaders knew that the Council would not remain quiet for long. "We need to prepare for a counterattack," General Thompson said, looking at the gathered military leaders. "They will strike back, and we need to be ready." Dr. Maria stood up, her face serious. "We should focus on defense as well as offense. Let's create more drones and strengthen our bases. We need to show them that we will not back down." The team worked day and night, enhancing their technology and planning their next moves. They were determined to defend their home and protect their way of life. Each success fueled their passion, and they grew closer as a team. Meanwhile, the Galactic Council was busy plotting their retaliation. They decided to send a powerful fleet to Earth, intending to crush the humans once and for all. "We will show them that they cannot defy us," Elaris declared, his voice filled with rage. "Prepare the fleet! We will teach them a lesson they will never forget." As the fleet was being assembled, Sorak stood up, feeling compelled to speak. "You must be careful. Humans fight with everything they have. They will surprise you again." Elaris sneered. "We will not make the same mistake twice. We have ships that can destroy entire planets. They are no match for our power." The day of the attack arrived, and the Galactic Fleet approached Earth. The sight was overwhelming, ships of all sizes gliding through space, ready to unleash their might. Elaris felt a surge of confidence as he watched the fleet prepare for battle. "Today we will show the humans their place," he said with a grin. On Earth, the military had been monitoring the fleet's approach. General Thompson looked at the radar and frowned. "They're coming in fast. We need to deploy our drones now." The humans launched their drones into the sky. each one a testament to their creativity and determination. They flew into the heart of the enemy fleet, dodging laser fire and returning fire with their own missiles. As the battle raged on, something unexpected happened. A small group of alien ships broke away from the main fleet and began to assist the human drones. Sorak, now among the human forces, had convinced some of the Council's more sympathetic members that the humans deserved a chance. The alien ships joined forces with the humans, attacking the larger ships of the Council. "This is what happens when you underestimate humanity," Sorak shouted to his new allies. "They will fight for each other and for the freedom of their planet." Alaris watched in shock as the tide of battle shifted. "What is happening? Why are they fighting together?" he shouted, his face pale. The humans were holding their ground, showing resilience and courage that Alaris had never expected. As the fight continued, it became clear that the humans were not just defending their planet, they were defending their very way of life. In the chaos of battle, the Council members began to realize that they were facing more than just an enemy. They were facing a force that fought for something greater than themselves. The determination and spirit of humanity were shining through, turning the tide of the war. As the battle raged on, Alaris finally understood what Sorak had been trying to teach him. The humans were not just fighting for survival, they were fighting for their families, their friends, and their planet. And that made them powerful beyond measure. The lesson was clear: never underestimate humanity again. The Galactic Council would have to rethink their strategy as they faced an enemy who would stop at nothing to protect their home. The war was far from over, but the humans had made their mark, proving that they were a force to be reckoned with. The battlefield was filled with smoke and debris as the war between the Galactic Council and humanity reached its peak. Both sides had suffered losses, but the fighting spirit of the humans only grew stronger. General Thompson stood at the command center, sweat trickling down his brow. "This is it. We need to make our final stand," he declared, his voice filled with determination. Dr. Maria, seated at the control panel, nodded vigorously. "We have to take out the flagship of the Council. If we destroy it, the rest will fall apart." The plan was risky, but they knew it was their best chance for victory. Meanwhile, aboard the Council's flagship, Alaris paced back and forth. He had witnessed the unexpected alliance between some of the Council's ships and the humans. "We must not let this happen," he shouted, frustration rising in his chest. "Prepare for a full assault. We will crush their resistance once and for all." The crew scrambled to follow his orders, tension palpable in the air. They could sense the stakes. Failure meant not only their defeat, but also the possible end of their reign. Back on Earth, General Thompson gathered his best pilots for the mission. "Listen up, everyone! We are going after the flagship. We'll use our drones as a distraction while our best fighters will aim for the core. This is for our families and for our planet. Let's show them what we are made of." The pilots cheered, their spirits lifted by the general's words. They climbed into their ships, adrenaline pumping through their veins. As they launched into the sky, the determination in their hearts was strong. They knew they had to fight not just for themselves, but for every human on Earth. As the drones launched toward the Council flagship, Ilaris watched with anger. "Do not let them reach the core! Fire at will!" he commanded, his eyes fixed on the incoming threat. Lasers shot through space, striking the drones and causing explosions. But the humans pressed on. "Stay focused. We can't let them stop us!" Thompson shouted into the comms. The fighters weaved through the fire, expertly dodging the enemy's shots. The atmosphere was electric with tension, each pilot fighting against overwhelming odds. Sorak, who had sided with the humans, flew alongside them. "Stay together. We must protect each other," he urged. His presence brought hope to the human pilots, reminding them of the strength that lay in unity. As they approached the flagship, the battle intensified. The flagship's defenses were formidable, but the humans were determined. One of the pilots managed to breach the outer defenses, creating a small opening. "Now's our chance," he yelled, his voice filled with excitement. With a swift maneuver, Thompson led his squadron through the opening. "This is it! For Earth!" he shouted, leading the charge into the heart of the flagship. Inside the flagship, chaos erupted. The crew was scrambling to respond to the sudden attack. Ilaris watched in horror as human fighters entered his ship. "What are they doing? Stop them!" he shouted, his heart racing. The humans fought fiercely, moving through the corridors and disabling the crew. They knew they had to reach the core, the heart of the flagship, to bring it down. Finally, they reached the control room where Alaris stood ready to defend his command. "You will not take this ship!" he shouted, anger burning in his eyes. But Thompson stepped forward, his voice steady. "You have underestimated us for too long. This ends now." With a swift move, the humans activated explosives that would cripple the flagship. Alaris realized too late the gravity of the situation. "No! You can't do this!" he shouted, but the humans were resolute. As the countdown began, Alaris knew he had lost. The humans had taught him a valuable lesson. Never underestimate the fighting spirit of humanity. The core exploded in a blinding flash, sending shockwaves through space. Outside, the remaining council ships watched in shock as their flagship fell apart. Sorak turned to the humans, a sense of relief washing over him. "You did it! You have proven your strength!" The humans cheered, their spirits soaring. They had faced the council and emerged victorious, united in their fight for survival. The war had shown them what they were capable of, and they knew that they could never again be seen as weak. Humanity had taught the Galactic Council a lesson, one that would echo throughout the galaxy: never anger humans again. As the remaining council ships retreated, the humans stood tall, ready to defend their world against any threat. They had proven their worth, and from that day forward, they would not be underestimated. The lesson learned would change the course of their history forever.